Oh my goodness, I am so sorry. I know I am running late and I have absolutely no excuse. I fell asleep. I did. And I figured I'd get up. I didn't. So, I can't even remember. I think this was actually supposed to be at 8. Ah, shoot. Sorry. Okay, so I do want to allow that there could still be some people show up to this. Ah, hello, Zaid Khan. Yes, I did fall asleep and gosh, it's like I don't know, man. I didn't I was out today, and when I came back, I needed to just clear my head and take a nap or reset a little bit. And doggone if I didn't stay asleep a lot longer than I thought. So sorry about that. I guess I allowed myself to sorry. Anyway, it's one of those interesting times, I guess, that I'm in. How are you doing? Oh, hello, Pam. I am. Hi. Okay. Yes, I did, Zaid Khan. I did sleep. Gemini, yes. Yeah, Gemini and I have been talking about this phenomena where you just want to, this sleeping phenomena, where sometimes you just want to sleep. I get that, and in this case, though, it was I had been doing a bunch. Well, thank you. I appreciate you saying so. Should take care of yourself. Yeah, you do have to kind of take care of yourself. It's when you work with energy, you know, I guess that's part of it. You're working with energy and it's different and it has its own schedule that it wants and doesn't, you know, always coincide with what your ideas are. um, so yeah, I just wanted to say thanks for everybody for noticing the earlier time. And welcome to the earlier time. I've been trying to get it at an earlier time for a while just because it's so freaking hard to manage this when I don't get up in the daytime. I mean, getting up in the it's just time management has become a real thing right now. So it's not but I'm glad to see some of you. As a matter of fact, I know some of you go to sleep earlier now. A lot of us we're going to sleep earlier now. Like I said, I'm just going to allow that perhaps, and yes, it is a lot like the art of letting go, which I think Lady Spellbreaker was saying. Yeah, like the language of letting go. It is a bit like that. And um, our topic tonight is about not not driving yourself too hard, basically. Part of it is that. I mean, and actually my friend Paul told me about this very simple concept, and he says it had been working really well for him. because he had a driven schedule for a while. And actually his son is also a shaman. And they both found that sometimes, well, you know what, for some reason, let me get some light on here. There we go. They have both found that for some reason, they had gotten into this, when you get into this state of it's not going to happen, and I see people do this. As a matter of fact, somebody I know very well is, I see her block herself. I know I probably do that too. I mean, everybody has a tendency, it seems, to do it. But we block ourselves. And it's important to not block yourself. I mean, we're pushing against quite a lot, and then you come across and at, like, what do I always say? This is in our heads. This is in our attitudes. This is in our iceberg. We get a notion that it's impossible, then it is impossible, and that is a big deal, because we have a whole world a whole new world to dream up and take care of, and realize that everything is possible. We have to turn on the everything's possible uh, filter instead of the everything's impossible filter, right? So, okay. Okay, let's see. What I'm going to do, and thank you so much for showing up. What I'm going to do is put on the intro, and hopefully I've got to grab something. Hopefully people will show up. More people will show. See you in a minute. Whoop. Oh boy, it's okay. It's okay, baby. Cowboy, don't worry, honey. Oh, come on. Baby, you're okay. Don't worry, kitten. Oh, dear. We got things going on all over the place. Mr. Cowboy took a dive into his cat cave, so uh, everybody's got something going on. I'm wearing my tiger eye and my fancy schmancy tiger eye. It's actually hawk's eye and tiger eye necklace that I just did. Thought it'd kind of help me along a little bit. Anyway, I need the tiger. Right, you do. You have to take care of yourself. That Mr. Cowboy, I don't know. Oh, there he is now. He went down in his cat cave for some reason instead of up on the bed. You want to come up, baby? You can come up. Come on. It's okay. It's okay. There you are. There you are, little sweet boy. Meow. Okay. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. There he is. There's my little boy. Why'd you go? Did you get confused? Did you get confused where you wanted to go? Okay, so you went down to the cat cave instead of up here with me, huh? Okay. Yeah, he does that sometimes. Because I know he likes to be like right beside me. I come in and he went right down under the bed instead of hopping on it, so I couldn't figure out what's wrong. Because usually he does that when there's some kind of, you know, when the smoke alarm goes off or something. Anyway, there. So anyway, there he is. He's here. I did a concert earlier, so I was. I don't know why I haven't done a concert. Not a long one, not a big one, just a few people, but I haven't done one in a while. So maybe that's it. Oh, I got outdoors air in me. That was great. Um, okay, the topic. Getting into the topic, by the way, hello, I'm the Ocean of the Ocean's Deep Blue, and welcome to the show. We're a show that we talk about the deepest of woo. We talk about every kind of woo, you know, the paranormal, the magical and mystical and spiritual and all kinds of other stuff. Um, everything that is wooish. Okay. So basically, are you wooish? But we have plenty of things going on in the right now that that are so um, polarizing, and it's entirely intentional. Okay, the polarization to that a lot of us are feeling, and I mean, yes, it is naturally going to be more polarized because of this cell division sort of effect that we're having with the old and new Earths. That the energetically, the new Earth and the old Earth are still having a little bit of a tug of war over um, our psyches, basically. They're both trying to draw on our psyches. Um, so thing is, when you're in that kind of a tug of war, there's a lot of us have found we're kind of wavy gravy right now. um, not settled down in our energy all the time. It's more like one day you're up and then you wake up and it's like you're just like, what the heck happened? Well, one day you're definitely your vibration is nice and high, and then all of a sudden you can't figure out. Of course, most of us by now have realized that we got empathy going on. It could be the person next to us having all this issue, having all these issues. And if you're an empath, I mean, it was really clear. I was talking to one of my friends on the phone, and we were trying to help each other fix each other's problems. It was very clear that as we were doing that, we were picking up very quickly on each other's problems. I started getting her, and this is another thing you got to be careful, because I started feeling her rash itch. I started getting her rash, and she started getting my pain. And I'm like, why does my hand itch finally? I said, why does my wrist itch? Oh, that's my wrist itching because I got a patch of, rash there. It's like, oh, I'm going to put silver cream on your rash on my arm. See, this is it. We don't always realize why we have these feelings. Some of it is we're feeling other people. We're feeling it for somebody else. Cats and you do this with your cat or your dog, and your cats and dogs do it with you too. So uh, so we got that going on for sure. But then we have um, people that want us polarized, and it's very obvious because we really had pretty much gone through all of this race stuff in the 60s and had gotten through it. We have now what? Sorry. It's Janet that I have a show going tonight. Anyway, trying to phone me. Um, we had gotten through, for instance, the race issues, but they've stirred it up again. You notice how it got stirred up again. The only thing is, it's not working very well this time because too many people have now intermarried. And now, when you're talking about, when you're trying to get somebody to hate white people, then you're talking about my wife or my husband or you're now no longer you uh isolated. So I mean, and now you're talking about people I love, that I have a good relationship with, you know and it could be your husband, your wife, or whoever, or some other, maybe the in-laws are now white. You can't, a lot of people are just not buying it because we had that figured out. You notice it comes up again, and what does it do? It comes up again during a time when we're also having another crisis, and it's sort of like allowing a crisis on the top of a crisis and then they allow us to build all of the narratives behind everything. They decide it's like these people decide, and I don't have to tell you who they is. They is the people who uh, run think they should run the place, and we don't think they should. No, sir. But they let us build it for them. Okay, they let us build the problems they want in society because they know if they spark it off, if we're in a certain consciousness, we're just going to carry through with it and build it for them. I have been trying not to build anything for them. As a person who I know I have built things for them in the past, I don't want to build anything for these people anymore. Anybody out there who hasn't done this, please consider doing this. Say, I break any and all contracts. Really. I am a divine being. I break any and all contracts for any of this to affect me. There's still, I see wild attempts at making contracts. That's another thing I've seen. Very subtle. Trying to get more contracts made before the end, and it can't be done anymore. See, once we raise to a certain vibrational level, we're going to be out of range. And then the only thing that would be able to mess with us would be unfinished contracts, So, hey, Ken, how you doing? Janet, I can't. I'm having a show. I'm streaming a show live right now. Well, thank you so much. Okay, love you too. You know what? I did that and almost missed my own show. Yeah, you too. I'll make sure that I will. Thank you. Okay, I'll take a break soon and take care of that. Thank you. It's my neighbor. She brought me some provisions from her barbecue. She brought me back some stuff from the barbecue, so that was nice. Basically, it's that kind of day. Okay, so what I wanted to say is allowing is when he was telling me about this allowing thing. And it is kind of like letting go. It is a bit like that. Maybe a lot like that. Maybe just another way and just a way to say it. But what the technique involves is pretty simple. At least as he explained it to me. Is you have all these ideas in your head. And I mean, I have seen Yolanta. She has so many times, so many times I say, well, you mean you're not even going to try? What's the use of even trying? When you're facing that kind of thought, when you're facing that kind of energy, well, what's the use? What's the point of even trying? Then you need to do some allowing. That's going to help you. Because in actuality, we are divine creators and nothing is impossible except what's in our heads. Okay. What's in our icebergs, what's in our onion layers. That's what's that's where the impossibility is. Because if we imagine it, we can do it. On other levels, we can imagine anything and we can do them. It can happen. So, good or bad. And we have come to this awakening point because we imagine that too. That's another thing. If we allow that it can happen. So, oh, Ken, you're going back home. Mm. Oh, you've been making it work off grid. Well, good. You've been making the off grid thing work. I'm glad to hear that. Um, I haven't yet had my chance at that, but I have a feeling it is coming at some point, and that's right now I'm just letting my desires to have a nice place, a nice comfy place where I can be off grid. I am letting it simmer, and I'm just allowing that that it could happen. First of all, here's your first step is just take things when you notice yourself saying this can't happen, this can't be, this is never to be. When you find yourself in the energy of can't, and um, just where you give up before you start. What you can always do instead is say, because sometimes we're so strong and stubborn, our little egos are so strong and stubborn that we will sabotage ourselves and say, no, we can't do that. No, and really stubbornly cling to that. Maybe they can't take the whole idea. Maybe this ego is not quite ready. Maybe it's sitting there. There's a part of you sitting there and saying, oh, hell no, that's just too unbelievable, which is why it's always suggested that when you're manifesting something, at first choose something believable that you can believe you can do, and work your way up to the more impossible stuff. Some people get it really quickly. I mean, as soon as they see that somebody else can do it, like the weather manipulation, there's some people that see the weather manipulation, especially, open-mindedly, and they can just jump right in, or whatever it is we're doing, and they can just jump right in. But sometimes you have reticence in the background, and it causes you to not even want to go along with the energy of it, to shift the energy that much and the trajectory where you want it to go. So if you want the timelines and stuff to go a certain way, you've got to, oh, pardon me, develop an attitude where it is possible in your head, even if it's impossible, right? Because we've already done impossible things. I'm so fortunate. I realize I'm one of the very fortunate people in this world to know darn well there are plenty of things that people say are impossible that are totally possible, and I do them. I've done them, and my friends have done them. We've done this. We know this. We're not. Uh, hey, Lady Spellbreaker, how are you doing? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, of course, you'll be connected to the island. Yes, you never forget Beagle Annie. Hello, Lady Spellbreaker, Heather sister. Nothing is impossible unless we limit it with our stinking thinking. Exactly. And how is that working for you? There's been a lot of times when, like, I'll say, okay, well, I'm just gonna spray some, I'm getting ready to do laundry. It can be something as simple as I'm getting ready to do laundry, and I'm spraying down the stains, and I use Power Dawn for that, right? In my head, a long time ago, I had it in my head that somehow I couldn't get stains out of things. It wasn't something that I knew how to do. I just wasn't good at it, never was taught how to do it. And I wouldn't even try. But then I just said, well, what the heck, Power Dawn. It uh, unlocks the food, off of your dishes. Why couldn't it do it from fabric? And so I put Power Dawn on my stuff and found that Power Dawn works really great to get rid of stains. So she's going, no, you can't do that. That's dried blood there. And dried blood, no, you can't get it. It's too late. It's been there too long. You can't get it out. I said, well, how do we know if we don't spray? How am I ever going to know if I don't give it a shot? Well, she said, no, don't bother. It's not coming out. I'm like, I did bother. Sure, it'll come out, you know. And I just allowed, instead of saying, I'm sure it will come out, it was more like I don't know, I was just trying this. I didn't know, but I was allowing for the concept that maybe it could, and trying it. And it was just something really simple like that. But I realized this is not a small thing for people. We even have things like that ingrained into us so deep, that she'd just not even try, not even try. As a matter of fact, if you're in any kind of a condition, any kind of an illness or something, and you feel, and see, they know this, and doctors even realize this. I'm sure they do. I mean, we've discussed this psychologically. Telling a patient, this is why I was trained. If you're doing readings, don't tell a person they're going to die on a certain day. People can build that for themselves. First of all, the timeline can shift, so it could still be wrong. June 3, yes, I can't wait, Lady Spellbreaker. Full moon, 5 degrees Ophiuchus, June 3rd. Oh, that's nice, Ken. So, yeah, we better congratulate everybody. Okay, as people are coming in, we gotta do all of our greetings, and we have a very sweet crowd here that um, is very kind to each other. It's not like some chat rooms where people just say things and then it rolls on, and don't really have a conversation. In our chat here, we're very like friendly with each other. Well, if you tell somebody that the cards are gonna, the cards show you're gonna die or something, and you can be wrong, but you could also be, even if you're right all the time, there are better ways to do that. Just say, okay, because it's only a chance of it. As we know, any kind of thing can happen. You can say things like, there is a chance. There is a chance that you could get hurt. Something could happen like this. You should take some steps to get your health checked. You should be careful, not do anything risky, because there is danger around this time for you. And just make sure you have everything checked out before that time comes, you know? And it can change. I mean, most of the time, whatever you're seeing in the cards or with any other thing, most of the time it can be changed. Sometimes it can be changed entirely, and sometimes it can be partially mitigated. And in either event, you don't want to just go past that and say, oh, that's it, it's locked in, because once you lock it in, it starts to lock itself into reality. The vibration starts to create it, and you're kind of locked in. So when you're faced with something like that, what really helps is to just sit there and say, okay, what do I believe is possible? And is there something that I'm believing is impossible here? And then look at that, whatever it is, it comes up to that you think is not going to happen, impossible, there's no way. Then you just think to yourself, just allow yourself to think, but it could happen. Hey, Project Skyfalls, how are you doing? Hey, Lewis. Oh, who's somebody heard it getting on somebody's case? Oh, yeah, you don't listen to a reader ever that tells you things like that. Oh, the pessimistic psychic? Oh, geez. Yeah, I wouldn't go to a pessimistic psychic. Good Lord, that's like asking for it. Sorry to say, whoever that is, oh, kind of feeling sorry for them. uh, okay, and he died you feel like he was going to, and he died 2 days later. Well, yeah, there's a difference between saying you don't look well, maybe you need to change something. Well, I mean, when I do the cards, I I try to do it like that. It's like you need to change this. It was so strong of a feeling one time when I told somebody, I said, um, well, if I were you, I'd clean up your act, don't have paraphernalia out. Um, because of what I was seeing in the cards, I was saying, you're going to want to clean up your act. You might want to, if you're partying, you may want to quit partying for a while, because it looks like the law is becoming involved in your life very soon. You're going to have the law involved in your life. You're going to be, it looks like you're going to be picked up by a cop for something. And if you are doing all this stuff, you're going to have a hard time. Your life is going to get hard. So I advise that you clean up your act. Well, so that particular person did listen, and they did clean their act up, right? And about a month afterwards, it was about a month or so, but so she cleaned up her life and, got everything. And doggone, you know what? She's out with this guy. She meets a guy. She brings him home to the apartment. And, and, she finds out only after she brings him home and they're getting cozy, she finds out that he is a policeman. He's a cop. She got picked up by a cop. But instead of getting picked up in a negative way, she got picked up in a more positive way. But she said, I was sitting there going, oh, thank God that I didn't have, all of this stuff out and all that, because I guess before she wasn't really very careful about putting stuff away. And, she says, wow, was I glad that I, had cleaned up everything and there was nothing there, because, that would have been could have been a really crappy date. you know and I'm like, yeah, that would be bad. And another one, I basically told him the same thing. I said, you know what, the police are closing in on you. Whatever it is you're doing, they know, okay, about whoever you're dealing with. It's somebody you're dealing with. They know all about it. If you're still dealing with this person, you're going to get caught up in it too. I'd say quit. I'd say get out anything you're doing with this shady person. I'd say get out of there. I'd say get out of it, but they didn't. They didn't. And I mean, there was serious hurt there. I said, you could get very badly hurt. Things could go very badly for you. All you have to do is just get away from it all. Get yourself out of that. And he looked at me, he says, I don't know if I can do that. I said, well, you know, you may want to try, because this is the way the energy is looking right now. And sure enough, he didn't get himself out of it, and he ended up getting shot and losing half of his colon because he got shot in the stomach. And he was not only had legal issues, but health issues too from that he never entirely, you know, losing half your colon. That's something. That's rather large. So, that's like a tale of two people who I basically warned both of them that the energy is there. This energy is there. But if you allow for the fact that it doesn't have to be that way, that there are things that you can do about it, if you just allow that it can be different than that, then you allow the energy to move. Once you start fixing that energy, like I can't leave this life, I can't leave this life, then you're stuck. Instead of asking how. So, how do I get this to happen? So we're taught, in my teacher, Rika Zimmerman, in access consciousness. And we're taught in access consciousness to not throw that up. What attitudes? That's why we say, what attitudes, judgments, and opinions do I have? That this is this way, that this has got to be this way. That's why we do these clearings. Is what are we not allowing ourselves to do? What are we not allowing our life to be? In what ways are we not allowing the energy to shift in our favor? Why aren't we shifting it in our favor? I'm just reading the comments because the people are responding. Oh, right. Then they give you, so they give her diabetic medicine. She breaks out in shingles. Oh, dear. And then they give her another drug for the side effects. And this is what they always do. You will be on one drug and then you'll be on a bunch of drugs and you'll get one operation and then generally they'll have you on a bunch of other operations. You'll end up with other operations scheduled. Oh, well, that's interesting, Lewis. Coyote. Hmm. Oh, you knew a psychic who always gave her clients bad news? I sure as hell wouldn't. And she was into satanic ritual stuff. Her daughter told. Well, yeah, I'm sure I would not visit that one. The pharmaceutical companies. Yeah, the arm pharmaceutical companies. Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, shingles are another thing you can get. Yeah, that's interesting. Coyote keeps coming up. I gotta do a little. Gotta do a little bit of thinking about this coyote energy because two coyotes have been spotted in our area and we've never seen them. I've never seen them before, but people are talking about there are two coyotes in our area now, probably because there's so much um, building. We're rousting them out of their natural habitats. Oh dear. Yeah. Heather, we've now got studies about that, and the more studies that are coming out, the worse it looks as to what's in some of these shots. And I haven't been accepting any of them, none of them, none. Recently, because Paul says they've more and more been coming out with. It's not just, pardon me, it's not just the old Jabberwocky. It's all of them right now are very shady. So we're talking. Let me move the light a little so I can see your comments better. Because right now this is just not working for me. Mm. Let me just allow the light to be a little different. It's still lighting me up, but not right in my eye. How's that? Um, okay. So basically, oh, yes, and you don't take stuff from the doctors and avoid them unless you hurt. Yeah, unless you can't. Yeah, can't fix yourself up any other way. Oh, they tricked you with Gardasil. Oh, oh, had health problems since they the last few. Oh, the flu jab was. You took the flu shot back in 2017. Ever since you had health problems. See, they did that to me at least 30 years ago now. More, I think. Yeah, been more like 35 more. They pulled that on me. This was when AIDS had come out. And even if there wasn't any way, I mean, both me and my spouse we had heard that it's a very, grave situation, but still, they wanted to give you shots because there was this health concern, and now they got to give everybody a shot. And so they were giving out flu shots like candy, like they always do. Flu shots are just so ubiquitous that, and people don't realize they're gonna get. They get sick every time. Then you hear about people being sick, and a lot of them are people who got the shot or are in families with people who got this shot. There was a whole family who got the shot. They all were sick too. And they decided to come to a party anyway and got me sick. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been sick that year at all. But they all were sick. My immune system wasn't quite up to handling that. Well, if it had been, I would have dodged that one too. Oh, they've been some last 6 years of steroids to fix anything. Yeah, Ken, steroids for everything, right? Steroids is not good for everything. Oh boy. Autism redefined about what the jabs are doing to children. Oh yeah, and how to heal it naturally. Yeah, well, that's another thing. Since they started giving um, so many jabs, so many shots, autism has risen incredibly. I mean, autism used to be extremely rare. I remember when it was rare. You hardly ever saw that. And now it's just through the roof. Um, woman whose son got jabs and got sick wrote the book. She was on the Healthy American channel. Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. They tricked you with the Gardasil because they had you heavily drugged. Yes. That's usually how it happens is you're heavily drugged or you're heavily sick or something. You saw your kitty Luna and she was happy to see you. Well, that's sweet. Your kitty Luna. Okay. Let's see. Over medicated you and wrongly diagnosed you. Well, that sounds like a lawsuit. I think I would go for the lawsuit. Oh, you from the last flu jab you got heart problems and fainting and yeah, I haven't had a flu jab in maybe 35 or more years. Yeah, it's been over 35 years now since I've had a flu jab. I don't get the flu hardly ever. Once in a while I have gotten it, but only like I said in a situation where I go to a party and this whole family has it, in a situation that's really asking for it. But yeah, it's ridiculous if you're not even having a lifestyle, why give yourself the flu? People say you're gonna get the flu shot, and it's like I don't want the flu, and they look at me like what? It's like I don't want to have the flu. I get the flu every time I get a flu shot. Long time ago, I realized I get the flu every time I get a flu shot. I'm going to just allow for the fact that maybe I won't get the flu. But it could be bad, and it's like, hey, the reaction from the flu shot could be really bad. I've seen people have horrible reactions, just like what you're talking about here. See, and those of you who are just tuning in and not looking at the chat, the live chat, they're all, everybody here is talking about their experiences with post shots that aren't good. I mean, we have plenty of examples to point to. I know I do in my life. that oh, and Paul said now they're beginning to prove that it was not the shots that killed awful lot of diseases, because there were places where the disease died off where people absolutely had no access to modern medical, and the disease died off anyway. And this is several different diseases, including polio. Polio died out anyway. It was not because of the shot that they rolled out. So they keep trying to tell us that you know, that they're saving us all. Are they really? You know? Um, yeah, you had heart problems and fainting from the flu shot, and it's like, I just don't get those things anymore. I can't give you medical advice, but I'll tell you right now, I am very careful anytime they want to put anything in my veins. I am darn important enough that, to myself, that I can wait a little bit and see what my intuition says. And most all the time, my intuition says, no, don't do it. Don't do it. And there are people who really get upset with me about that. I'm going to try it over this way. No, that doesn't work at all. Oh dear. Got lighting issues now. Okay. So, I don't know why. I was moving the lighting around a little bit. Maybe I had it good at one point. Yeah. So much Down syndrome. I know now there's lots of Down syndrome. We we never used to have that hardly. It's people are being falsely labeled as demonic possession. Yes, that's true, Lewis. That's another thing. That's another thing that people will do is if they're is blame it on the devil. And wrongly diagnosing and drugging people. Yep. And they err on the side of drugs, don't they? The war on drugs, right? That's funny. That's really funny. And how's that gone? Yep. We had a war on drugs. Been having a war on drugs for how long now? How's that gone? It's eradicated all the problems. No, it hasn't. It's put a focus on the problems. It's put a focus on things to the extent that we're manufacturing a lot of things. See, that's the problem. Oh, they're making out like there's a whooping cough epidemic in Australia. You can't see stepdaughter's baby unless you get immunized. Yep, you'll have to wait a while. That's right. Too bad. That's pretty much what I would say. I'm just sorry to hear that. Heavy metal toxicity. Yes, that's another thing. We have to deal with heavy metal toxicity. And that's another thing that could have been avoided. It can be avoided unless you've got dental. Now, right now, I'm allowing for the fact that I'm allowing that somehow there's going to be a dentist that's going to be able to help me, because I just had something happen with my front tooth and it's broken. And I'm going to need I haven't been to a dentist in a while and in a long time, because my front teeth were completely ruined by the last dentist, and I realized I still have a lot of trepidation about going to dentists. And I can't go to just anyone, because they've got to be able to use bottled water because if they use tap water, I will get sick from I get sick from tap water. I have bad effects from tap water. Usually, I'm sick for about 2.5 weeks, as much as I hate to say it. And I get this cough that turns me inside out. I haven't had it for ages now. I haven't had this cough. I've been staying away from tap water and certain other things. And this cough I used to get that would be so bad that I felt like I was turning inside out, and I really had problems with it. Well, I just got that straightened out, and I don't want to go back to that. I mean, I got that straightened out for actually, it's been a while now since I've had any of those episodes, but I sure don't want to go back to that. So somehow I've got to manifest myself a dentist that can uh, handle that. 2 years in Illinois for the medical malpractice lawsuit. Oh, wow. Right. What if you don't realize it for 10 years after being wrongly diagnosed and drugged? Right. And sometimes parents kill their autistic kids by exorcisms gone wrong. Oh, gosh. Yes, I've heard that. Yeah. Yeah, if we're very healthy, if we keep ourselves very healthy, we naturally fight off. We're made to naturally fight off and naturally heal everything. Yeah. It's like they don't want us to know we have natural immunity. They don't even like, you know what? And when people said, remember, and this was like back before Omicron came out, I said, I'm going to intend that somehow there's going to be a mutation, but instead of a mutation with the virus, that it gets more deadly. Um, It's going to get more, it's going to get less deadly. And maybe give everybody immunity too while we're at it. And then they're going to be immune. Guess what? That's Omicron. Omicron came out and gave everybody natural immunity that had it. And they didn't want to accept that. Well, it happened anyway. And you know what the funny thing is? I intended that. And I think so. There were some people that intended it with me, I'm sure. Heard it and intended it with me. But um, the interesting thing about that is when I looked it up, Omicron, it turns out to be a game that who do you think was involved with? David Bowie, my old friend, my boo here, my guy, one of my guides. Yep, there's David, and I'm there like this is mind-boggling. It was a game. Omicron was a game too. And so there is David staring at me. And I'm like, you're in everything. And he goes, oh. He's just, well, yeah. David's everywhere. He really is. I just couldn't believe it's like every darn thing. He's got a part in every darn thing. I can't believe it sometimes, but yeah, he's in it. He's in everything. Um, the mental health, let's see, reading the chat, all the mental health patients are labeled bipolar and over-medicated. Yeah. The children are labeled autistic and on the autism spectrum when, yeah, it's just, yeah, they're more interested in selling you some kind of cure than actually letting your body heal itself in some cases. And they've just gotten that way. And it's because And I think, well, there's all kinds of reasons for that. That's really for another show. And all children are labeled autistic, and on all children are labeled autistic on the autism. What? And now the doctors admitted after drugging your cousin's son for a decade that he doesn't have autism after all. Now this is worse. That's terrible. This is awful. So for almost 2 decades, that's almost 20 years, they drugged your cousin's son for autism with amphetamines, and now they said he doesn't have autism. No, we just drugged your son. This is why some people say the biggest drug dealer. Yeah, guess who it is? Oh, Ritalin. Oh, yeah, Ritalin. And Adderall and Concerta. Oh, my goodness. Ritalin, Adderall, Concerta. Give that to children. Holy cow. Okay, Ken Rotman, see you soon. Right. The war on drugs just made things, I think, in my opinion, worse. You know, for autism, yeah, they should try something like magic mushrooms. But yeah, turning people into zombies, we've often wondered if that was the real goal. Children with behavior problems are now on the autism spectrum. Oh my gosh. Oh, yes, developmental trauma. Yes, the body keeps score. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yeah. MK Ultra zombies. Wow. You guys are really taking off on this subject. Yeah, magic mushrooms work for healing trauma and addictions. Yes, they're finding this out. Paul says they're finding out more and more. It's High Wire. He watches a show called The High Wire with Del Bigtree, is his favorite show to watch. And they actually have some money behind them and lawyers. So they're actually they're actually bringing legal battles to bear on this. They're using the law. So I got to do something with this. Wait, I cannot read your comments. There. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I saw that a long time ago. I kept seeing people And it was in my mind's eye, it was like people were getting zombified from a lot of them. It's a lot of them were proponents of what is it, the indica. The indica marijuana tends to be sort of a sedative effect, and and very strong. And so it would, and still does, glue people. Some people just get glued to the couch and then all they do is sit there and watch TV, and that's it. And since it puts your mind in a more malleable state, you're now susceptible to be programmed by the TV. It makes you more susceptible to TV programming if you plunk yourself down in front of a TV and watch a program while you're stoned. Don't, I would advise against it. If you're, as a matter of fact, I think we really scarred ourselves. It was a thing to do when we were younger, and everybody did it. It was one of those things that people would get high and watch a scary movie. And you'd have to watch it, and and they had different, I guess people would challenge themselves different ways, being really high on something and watching a movie. If your mind is very malleable and you're watching a movie that's very disturbing, you're pretty much programming your mind right there yourself, you know. My mom broke out in shingles too, and after some stuff, and after I managed to talk her into a different doctor, it stopped. All of this crazy stuff stopped. So really, you need to, if you're having all this kind of stuff go on, you need to change doctors. Right, and your dad, and it happened to your dad. And in a trance, it's like they're in a trance. Well, good for you, sweetheart. Congratulations. And 1 year, no cigarettes to date. You're going to find you think a lot more clearly. Yes. Yeah, similar, Lewis, similar. Here's what the problem is if you are putting yourself in a mind, once again, you're installing programs when you're watching something. That's how the programs are getting installed. And then if you put yourself in a state where you're even more receptive, see, for some people, it makes them more receptive during meditation, more receptive to in messages and meditation. For other people, they just plunk down in front of a TV set or go to a movie, and they get programmed. And TV is very bad at programming. And now we have YouTube, very good too. If if you are a certain, look at what they put in your feed, you know, and we know that they ran experiments on Facebook, putting different things in people's feeds. Now, then listen to this. Your feed, your news feed, what it's like food. It's like they're feeding you something. Yeah. So your feed, they're putting things in your feed to influence you because it is feeding your programs, isn't it? It is a feed. Wow. Your feed on any of the social media, and they call it that feed. Look at that. See? Gotta look at these words. So they're feeding you a bunch of crap on these, and they'll put it in your feed. They'll slip it in there. They'll slip some kind of weird stuff into there and expect you to be programmed. And, no. That's why you got to be so discerning. Right. Yeah. It's basically put yourself on a program. Put yourself on on a program of no programming. No, I don't need this program. We really don't. So I know this looks impossible. I'm going to ask you to allow for the fact that maybe, I'm going to try and pull this away a little because I feel like I'm way too close on this. Way too close. I'm going to allow for the fact that we could have a situation where we actually get some positive programming in, or where this sort of fear-mongering program stops. That's got to end at some point. So I'm intending that it does end. That's another thing that I'm working on. Yeah, dopamine. I was talking about dopamine, adrenaline, cortisol. Sure. That's basically how they push the buttons. Dopamine, adrenaline, and cortisol. Mostly dopamine and mostly dopamine and adrenaline is enough to drive you, is enough to drive most people. If they can scare you, or if they can make you feel like you won something, like you got something. Dopamine. The dopamine addiction. Yeah, I've talked about that. And yeah, also talked about making you continually feel like there's a lion in the room, which wears you out. It makes everything function differently. Your perfectly functioning immune system gets weak because all of the um, all of the resources are getting sent to other things that are supposed to be only temporary. It cuts off some of the blood here. It turns down your ability to digest food. Adrenaline. There's all kinds of things happen when you scare people and you keep them scared. It's very bad for your health to be scared all the time. Even if you're in a scary situation, you have to find a way to take your mind off of it, or you're killing yourself. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, addicted. Well, see, that's another thing. It is an addiction. It's it is an addiction. They've given us a new addiction, electronic addiction. Electronic addiction. So what this whole allowing thing is, where I'm going to allow that there is a way out of this. I'm going to open my mind and allow for it to change and say, I'm intending that this is going to change. Even though I don't see how this is going to change, I don't really, I see people going I see them pushing it the other way. I'm going to allow for the fact that, it's like the worst thing is to shut it down and say, but it can't change. Yes, it can. It changed to get that way. Anything that changed to get that way, it can change out of it too. It can change again. You gotta look at it that way. If something changed, something can change again. If your life was going okay and something changed, it can change again. It can change again. This is what ends up with people offing themselves. They just don't see how it could change. You don't have to know. You don't have to see how it could change. You just have to intend for and be ready for it changing, things changing, and allow for the fact that it can change. And that's the basic thing right there. That's the whole thing, is allowing for the fact that, yes, we can do all of this stuff. Yes, I might be able to mitigate that problem. I might be able to intend a whole different reality for myself, which I did. I've done this a lot of times. I know you guys have too. Intended a whole different reality, and there it is. It's not impossible, you know, is to get out of our heads what's impossible, this impossible idea. I know I see where I catch myself. I catch myself doing that. I always, okay, I know I'm doing this now. I gotta quit. I gotta quit. Take a step back. Whoops. And instead allow for maybe this can change. This can be different. Yeah, you detach and do your meditations and stuff, of course. Uh-huh. Yeah, you're recovering. I'm really glad to hear that, Heather, that somebody's going to have you on to talk about breaking addiction. Of course, I'll tell you right now, I'm struggling with sugar. I don't think anybody's going to, it's not as dramatic to have somebody, I guess, who had a struggle. And I still can't say with sugar, it's hard to be entirely off of it because you don't know. And there's sugar in so many things that you honestly don't know sometimes. But for the most part, I am now free of that sugary pop addiction. I do not want sugary pop anymore. I do not want candy bars are extremely, I can't say I'm entirely over them, but they're extremely, extremely rare in a tiny amount if I want to experience that flavor. But it's going to be a lot less, uh, it's going to be a lot less often. It's way smaller, like one square of chocolate, one little dove is enough, you know. Um, it's a more down to a more normal level, like something your body is not really going to react much to. But even at that, I notice myself staying away from it. So you just, um, all of these things, it's your mental attitude does a lot. So, and I'd have to look at the letting go stuff again, but I think the letting go stuff is very similar. Is and there's more than one way to let go. To let go of your problems. There's also to let go of things that are not good for you. Letting go of things that are not good for you. And that comprises everything. That comprises the stuff in your iceberg and your onion layers. comprises, you know, people, food, places, habits, everything. Um, so yeah, that this is all just, what I've been told too is that some of us are chronic. I have to be very careful or else I can end up feeling like I have to do something about everything. Recently, I have been getting because for a long time I had to do that. I had to be that way. I had to do something about everything that came my way. I had to initiate that. Now I'm getting in a lot of instances it's being taken care of. Now I'm getting, okay, you ask. Ask if it's already being taken care of because it might be getting taken care of already. And if it is, you don't have to do anything about it. It will get done. Now, yep. hmm So, for myself, um, I know that using something like it depends, and I'm sure you'll agree, Lady Spellbreaker, Heather, um, that it depends on how you're using these items. For some people, if it's your kryptonite, you've got to stay away. You got to stay away from your kryptonite if it weakens you. And, then you may be a person that this is not suited for. Um, some people do better with um, therapeutic cannabis. Some people do not. Um, People are different. They react to things differently. And then, like we know, there are different strains of it. Same with the mushrooms. Some people it would be a good candidate, and some people would not be. But when you try to blanket statement but what they do too often, what they do in the medical profession is try to come up with a one size fits all, and it doesn't. There isn't a one size fits all. About the only one size fits all is, yeah, they need air. We all need air to breathe. That's about it. Beyond that, we're all a little different, and we have to allow for the fact that we are. In fact, now this is very strange. There is a guy who has found out that you can put somebody into a state of meditation where they don't need to breathe. How impossible does that sound? But the Indian mystics could do that. So, because the Indian mystics could do that, he realized there's some mechanism that was allowing for this, and actually he found the way, and you may still even be able to find it on YouTube, that he's got this guy into a non-breathing meditation where he did not have to breathe to live. Could it be that even the whole idea of breathing might be an attitude, might be a judgment, an opinion, something in our iceberg? I don't know. I know that it's ingrained in there pretty well, and that most people, uh, Oh yeah, with the yeah. Yeah, less is more. That's true. With a lot of things you're doing to yourself, less is more. You do a little bit and find out how that's doing for you. Right, I do breath holds. I do the breathing things, different breathing techniques too. This guy has found a way to put a person into a meditation where they don't breathe for several minutes, for a while. And once they're in this state, they don't need to breathe. What? Right. Oh, and Lewis Ta says, if you do it too long, you'll accidentally astral project. Yeah, well, that that happens too, I expect. As a matter of fact, I expect that may be how some people are doing their astral projecting. So, so really, that's another thing I'm going to have to research and get on the trail of that and see if I can find anybody who has actually done that. See if I can find somebody who has actually done a non-breathing meditation and see what happens with that. Yeah, astral project is not necessarily a bad thing. Yeah, you need some nice videos with the koalas. Koala and all koala bears. They got the koalifications, put them on YouTube. Yeah. I've always wanted to go to Australia, and I thought living in one of the underground homes would be fun too. But then I hear about all these things that can kill you in Australia, all the snakes and stuff. It's like, geez. But I know somebody who I did meet somebody who moved to Australia instead of me. It was really weird. I At first I was the one that wanted to move to Australia. She was the one that got to move to Australia. Married somebody and moved to Australia. She's been happy ever since. Yeah, so you know, she's happy in Oz. I've lost track of her. I don't know still, but yeah, she was happy. Um, I really was attracted to Australia for a while too. Now you know I'm not really attracted to anywhere right now. Oh yeah, the Wim Hof method and the Iceman. Oh, you're gonna upload your koala video soon. Cool, Ken. That's really cool. That's great. So, you know, there may be things that we think are important that aren't important at all, that aren't even important. There may be things that, like breathing, I mean, it's not that it's not important. You can actually change things with your breathing, but not, how can I say it? Not absolutely necessary to live that we think are, you know. But this just proves to me once again, we're a consciousness. We're not a body, you know, we're not our body. Or this stuff wouldn't be able to happen, you know. If we were just a body, all of the stuff we're talking about wouldn't happen. uh, Othership app with tons of meditations. Othership. Othership. Oh, okay. That's your favorite YouTube channel for breathwork. Oh, I see. That's cool. Heather, well, thank you. I'll try and remember that. Ooh, Lake Huron is freezing, huh? Wow, really cold. Yeah, hang on. Yeah, we're not just this. We are not our bodies. It's becoming more and more obviously true that we are not our bodies. I mean, it's to the point where it's ridiculous to even think that we are our bodies, in fact. Because none of this stuff, we have so many things that could not possibly happen. If we were our bodies, it could not possibly happen. Astral projection. In fact, where you go, where you meditate. Stuff like that. Of course, you are not your body. So, and there, like I said, there may be functions. We do know that there are things like breatharians that train themselves to not have to eat. And actually, my friend Paul knows one or knew one for a long time and had him over, and he really, truly did not eat. Yes, that's right, Lewis. Ah, yes. Okay. Lake Huron. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm gonna check that out. Thanks. So, to me, I'm thinking there's a whole lot more like that. Like, what if gravity is just a state of mind? I sure don't want to go flying off the planet. I like being able to walk on the planet when I need to walk on the planet, but it would be nice to know how to fly. It would be nice to fly or levitate, as the Sasquatch are said to do. And it's funny because Robin was saying there are people going, "Oh, that's just baloney. They can't levitate." And it's like, and then she's watching them levitate. She's watching the Sasquatch. She's seen them levitate. So maybe we can do it too. Oh, you take hot showers even in the summer. I see. You know, Lady Spellbreaker, I mean, Heather, you know, I gotta say, I used to be such a freeze baby. This is something I noticed when I was doing the intermittent. As I got older and I stopped with my menses, I went through menopause. I stopped being a freeze baby somehow. Unlike other people, a lot of older people start getting really affected by the cold. I stopped being quite so affected by the cold somehow. But when I do intermittent fasting, my my extremities get cold, very cold. very easy. And to the point where it scares my helper because she's trying to do massage to get the lymph and stuff to flow. And she's like, your feet are like ice. Your hands are like ice. I had to stop intermittent fasting. I can only do it for a little while at a time, and then I have to back off on it because I will get this freezing phenomena where I'm freezing all the time. Yeah. Yeah, Sasquatch can levitate. Yeah. Yeah, when I fast, I freeze my butt off all the time. So I just noticed that, and I don't know what to think about that. You know what? Because part of the time that I was, in fact, at the height of winter is when I became homeless and was having to do a lot of walking out in the snow and couch surfing. It was also when I didn't get fed. I did a lot of fasting at that point. Yeah, I fasted a lot because I knew there were foods. I had to make a choice between being sick. I could either be sick and eat the food or just fast and wait until something healthy came along, which let me tell you, you can wait a while sometimes. It was all I could do to afford myself clean water, and even couldn't do that all the time. During that time, trying to keep myself healthy was really hard. Um, it was rough. And then there were always people who I would say, no, I don't eat this, I don't eat that. And they'd say things like, you get hungry enough, you'll eat it. And it's like, no, actually, I won't. Because I'd rather be able to function. If I get myself sick, I won't be able to function. So see, that's the problem I had is um, I would rather go hungry than make myself sick. But it gave me a lot of determination. People really had no idea how determined I could be. Oh, you defy gravity on tire swings. Uh, oh, a 5 month winter, yeah. I can't remember my fasts. I had several day fasts. I didn't keep track of them. That's true. That's true, Lewis. I don't often have breakfast myself, although I have started having breakfast. Yeah. Well, I had to do intermittent fasting. You've got a plan for intermittent fasting. Um, Yeah, a 10-day fast when you had during the COVID thing probably was a good idea. Oh, and Gemini Moon has found that she gets these cravings for onions and garlic, and then she finds out why later. Something's going on, and she finds the onions and garlic were necessary. I can't hardly cook without garlic and onion. Hey, free flow, free fly, flow, flum. You know what? I'm thinking of doing that too. I'm thinking of splitting my channels up and having different channels. I really need something where I can do different windows for that though too. Um, is I'd like to have about 5 different channels to do different things. So I'm gonna have to get something that allows me to do that. Yep. Ah, garlic keeps the vampires at bay. Um, Fortunately, I can do raw garlic. I can do it. I have had raw garlic um, plenty of times, but yeah, I it a lot of times. Oh, that's another thing. Garlic. If you cut open the garlic and take the little green thing out of the middle, that will help you uh, digest the garlic. If you get effects from garlic, bad effects, you take the little green sprout thing out of the middle of the garlic. It they say that helps people not have the stomach reaction because apparently that's where it's coming from is that little green thing in the middle, the little green sprout thing in the middle of the garlic. So you might want to try that, see if that helps. You're reading a book about dodging energy vampires. Oh, good. That sounds like something we should all learn to do. Um, I just was talking about, I went to a dinner and found out that somebody is using bingo to drain people. Somebody is vampirizing people at bingo. They have bingo after the party, and I watch people get completely different sitting there playing bingo. It's really not good. I I'm like, wow, I'm getting out from under this, and people were not excusing themselves. Some people were even. I was watching the lady beside me fade into oblivion. She was even saying she was fading, but she wasn't leaving. She kept saying, "I'm gonna leave soon." I even found myself saying doing that. Yeah, I'm gonna leave after this one, and then another one would start, and I'd stay anyway. I'm like, why am I still here? About the third time around, I caught myself. I said, wait a minute. Why am I still here? I don't like bingo. This is really not fun. We're playing for very cheap plastic shit from Temu. Why in the heck am I even here? I can't socialize because of the acoustics of the room. You know, you can't talk when somebody else is talking or it just bounces around. It's just really painful. So, why am I here? I'm not socializing really. I'm sitting here trying to hear stuff and having it be garbled by the acoustics of the room and other noises. It was like, so I left. But, and then I felt better. You know, I was actually beginning to feel crappy too. And I'm like, holy crap. I had to send it back, do the send it back. Who does this belong to? That's an access consciousness thing. Who does this belong to? You ask yourself. And then you send it back with consciousness attached. You can also send it back with love attached, whatever, but send it back with consciousness attached so people become more conscious. Um, right. I have tried to do the hula hoop. I have never been able to do the hula hoop. I know it's something in my head once again, but for some reason couldn't get it to work ever. Ah, that's cool. I'm glad to hear that. By the way, I do have to say, I've been getting 555 a lot. That's changed. The angel numbers, I've been getting 555. Yeah. So, sign from your angels. Yeah. Well, that's just it. We get all of we get all of these messages. We do get a lot of messages if we just take take the time to look them up. If you don't know the meaning, look them up. It's so easy. You can just type into a browser meaning of and then type in the number and it'll pop right up with the number. It's amazing. So the one thing I really want to get across here is not making things impossible for yourselves. Is not feeding into impossibility because it's one of the easiest things to do and one of the most unconscious things to do. You know, you don't consciously feed into the impossibility program, but it's so easy to think to just accept things as being impossible because we've been told that. So now there are some things that while nothing is impossible, there are going to be some things that are going to be really darn hard and maybe not even beneficial. And, you know, there might be some things like that, maybe even deleterious, but impossible, no. Might be some things that are not possible from certain perspectives. Anyway, um, and you know what? I was going to play some music tonight, but I'm not feeling it tonight. I think I'm going to do it tomorrow. I think tomorrow I'll play some music. I brought my guitar. I already played some music today. I think I'll play some more tomorrow. And definitely Did anybody want to come up and talk? Because I can put the link up. Ah, numerology. Okay, cool. You know what? When I did a thing to protect us from the spills and stuff, all of the air pollution that were coming with all the train wrecks and spills and different stuff. And I've got a picture of this. I literally have a picture of this. The clouds, the dark clouds literally parted right over my area, right over my area. They went to the north and to the south of us, but not over us. I'm telling you. And that's how I knew they were some kind of toxic clouds. Another thing I noticed too is sometimes the clouds get streaky, but they're not sky streaks. They're not, the stratospheric injections. They're not. And if I look into the sky and I see them and I say, okay, and I call the sylphs and different things to take care of it, I will see the chemtrails will disappear, but the regular clouds won't. So it's really interesting. So not all of the streaky looking clouds are actually stratospheric injections. Right. No, I'm just saying if anybody wants to, I can throw the link. And that's anybody. Yeah. Many blessings to you too, Heather. Have good meditation. Have a good yoga and breathwork session. Okay. Oh, okay. So I don't know. Should I do music? I'm I'm not quite I'm not quite feeling music right now. I think that's going to end up being tomorrow. I think tomorrow I'm probably coming on. I'm going to try and come on earlier, even like at 6 or something, maybe. I'm not sure, but we'll see. Maybe just let myself come in when I come in. I'm not sure yet, but yeah, seems like it's been a little up and down. We're on the last couple days of the 10 portals within 10 days. So we're jumping through our last hoops. Okay, coming up. The 28th is the last. So there are also some channels are saying that they're getting messages that 5D Earth is pretty much completely built now. Is that all of our intentions of building 5D is New Earth is it's ready. So um, ready for colonization, sort of. So that's interesting. I don't exactly I haven't personally gotten that, but I have personally gotten that I don't have to work on it anymore. And so maybe that is that, I don't have to work at it anyway, that I can still, I mean, we're still going to be creating things all the way through. Let's face it, we're creators. We're going to keep creating. That's what we do. We're going to be creating forever. Hey, James Ortiz. How you doing? Okay, so right now we're in a pretty good position. Um, we have Pluto uprooting a lot of bullshit, okay, and it's going to continue to be uprooted all summer. For some of you, it's winter. All summer for the next at least 3 months till, um, let's see, once we get into the fall season, we're going to see things actually fall. Sometime in the fall is when Pluto finally changes, shifts. By the way, right now we're experiencing retrograde Venus. So this is matters of the heart. For those of you who are wondering why maybe lost loves come up or um, things that stirred your heart from the past are coming back up, that's because Venus is retrograde. So much like Mercury retrograde, when Venus is retrograde, we go back over old loves and over old things that uh, affected our emotional body. Okay. So if you're feeling that, this is a good time to clear that out while Venus is retrograde. So this is actually a good time. And like all retrogrades, it wasn't meant to harm us. It never was meant to harm us. It's meant to give us a chance of having things work just a little differently so that we can deal with it. I mean, what, cowboy? What's the problem? Is something wrong? He's complaining about something. Maybe, I don't know. I'll have to look and see what he's complaining about later. Your ex comes back. Oh, yeah, Venus retrograde. Yeah, Pluto in Capricorn until 2041. Yeah, but it's going through, it has something to do with going through the US chart, the United States chart. As something changes in the fall, and I can't remember what it is. To tell you the truth, Heather, I can't remember what the shift is. But there is a definite shift coming in the fall. Right, July 22nd. So, oh, so we got two more planets going retrograde in, wow, going retrograde in June. Declaration of Independence. So the last time Pluto went in Capricorn was 1776. Wow. Pluto will be retrograde until 1010. I think that's what it was. So, yeah. So we have a lot of exciting things happening. Thanks for clarifying that. You know, I knew you'd know that, Heather. I knew you'd know. I forget. I am not really a full-fledged astrologer. I just know something about astrology. I know something about everything. I know a bit about everything. And I have an idea of how these things can work. June is going to be an interesting month. Well, yeah, I know I'm sticking around for a reason. I want to see us win. We're going to win. It'll be interesting to see the win. It looks so crappy. You know, it's like, whoa, how do we pull ourselves? How do we pull victory out of all this, right? But we will. I am too. I'm really stoked for it, and it's coming really close. Yes, indeed. It's only about a week away, isn't it? Yep, it's only about a week away or so. I better get, I just thought of so many things I better get ready. Because, yeah, that's going to be intense for me. It's going to be such an intense week, and we're already feeling. See, we're already feeling the shadow of that. We're already feeling, what do they call some people call it a shadow, some people call it an orb. The orb of that time is so many days before and so many days after that these events still affect us because it's going into that position. Um, oh, it's a Friday. Oh, yeah, 5 days. Well, yeah, retrograde is always a going over old ground. It's reruns. As far as I can tell you, everything that's retrograde is going to bring you reruns of issues that it brought up when it was going forwards through your chart. So if it's going backwards, from our point of view, which they don't go backwards, but from our point of view, it's going to be reruns. Just here, doesn't it sound like maybe we could be in a matrix? Listen to that. Yeah, we get reruns, literally. Things rerun in our lives to be straightened out. So this is a great time. This is going to be a great time when Venus goes retrograde. It's going to, and we're already being affected by all this. This is going to be a great time to clean out all the emotional hurts of your past. It's going to be a time when you're probably going to see you're probably going to run into your exes, or in some way there's going to be an interaction of some kind, or even if it's just in your mind that you are thinking of what happened at that time, even if it's just an emotional, because it's going to hit your emotional stuff. And then let me see, what did you say now? What if you look up what the planets mean? Look at the reruns that are happening. We're going to re-look into that, right? So Saturn is going retrograde and Neptune. And Saturn is a planet of restriction, constriction, that sort of thing. You know what? It sounds like probably we will see arrests and detainments during Saturn retrograde. What do you want to bet, Heather? Think we're going to see some detainments and arrests? I think it's going to be finally. We're going to see it during the Mercury retrograde, or during the Saturn retrograde. That's going to be next month. Yep, that's right on time. Yep, each of the planets represents something. If you look at what it represents. I changed my number. My ex is back in my area. About an hour away or so. Yeah. I am treading carefully during that season, let me tell you. Yeah, more arrests and justice coming. Exactly. Right. Oh, yeah. It's Project Skyfalls, I agree. I think that's when Biden finally goes bzz, pop. Just the whole thing falls. Well, when the hand gets pulled out of the sock puppet, there's not going to be anything left of him. Know what I'm saying? More earthquakes and volcanoes with eclipses come with eclipses. That's right. You're flipping tables and lifting rugs. Okay. What does that mean? Oh, you mean like flipping the tables and taking the rugs out from under people? My kind of girl. Yeah. Well, we are going to have earthquakes, that's for sure. And remember, smaller earthquakes will release pressure so we don't have to have huge earthquakes. So small earthquakes are not that bad. Huge earthquakes, on the other hand, are a different story. So it's better to have a lot of small ones happening than one great big giant shift. Pam, you don't have my phone number anymore. What? My phone number? Oh, the next eclipse is your ex's birthday. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, what's going to happen there? We'll have to do a reading or something. Something's going on there. Okay, 10:28 when Pluto goes direct again. Yeah, 10:10. Oh yeah. Oh wow, that's right. 10:10. It stations direct on 10:10. Wow, Pluto stations direct on 10:10. Wow, that's gonna be that's gonna be quite a jar for a lot. Maybe that's the falling flat that I see. That might be when it happens, is right around that time, because um I have been seeing for a while the fall is when things really fall. So You know, a lot of things are going to be going splat. That's the way I see it. Things are just going to fall. A lot of things. Going to fall down, go boom, not get back up. Yeah, full moons and stuff. Oh, I didn't change mine. I didn't change my number. I haven't changed my number, Pamela. It's the same. Okay, I don't understand. My number has not changed. It's the same. Lady Spellbreaker changed her number. My number changed along. Oh, I know what you're talking. Okay. Mine changed a long time ago. I was talking about my ex. But my ex knows how to find anybody's phone number. He worked for the government. So it doesn't matter. My number's changed quite often for a while. Oh, and I ended up finally getting rid of my landline. So really my cell phone now, and I never thought I'd be depending on just a cell phone, but there you go. Right. It changed long time ago. Doesn't matter though, because he can find. If he really wants to find me, he can find me. And he might, because I get the impression that he is probably dying. He's probably fixing to die. Because he's around the same age as me, but he's male. So guys don't always live that long, as long, you know. So could be that it's coming time for him to not be around anymore. Or at least he's the last one, right? He's the last one. He's the last one. Okay, Pammy, could you clarify? Oh, oh, yeah, I remember saying that. Yeah. That's the last, because I was married to him. That would be the last contract that could even still be active because I've canceled pretty much everything. But if somehow that contract is still active, yeah, it would be over when one of us dies. Yeah, that would be the last that I know of. That would be the last contract that would carry any that would still be able to exist because I've canceled them all. I think that one may even be canceled, but I'm not sure because I've been canceling all of them. So, but if somehow there's some kind of loophole or something that one is still active, it would go inactive after the death of one of us. So, yeah, I think that would probably be the end of it then, of that particular episode of my life. Not that I'm wishing that, I'm not wishing that on him or anything. It's just that he is older now. He is about my age and he is male. So it could be that he's fixing to go. So I don't know. I haven't seen him in years, in decades even. Oh, every time you tried to take a nap, you started dreaming of you mean your ex? Hmm. Well, yeah, I'm told that there's one more, and I think that may be it. That may somehow be the one. So, wow, that sucks. See, I told you, we're already in the shadow of it. We're already in the shadow of Venus retrograde. It's a coming. It's a coming. You're going to feel it. I'm going to feel it. We're all going to feel it. Everybody who's empathic, everybody who's sensitive is really going to feel it. Ah, oh, yeah, it's a coming. Well, get ready. I told you, this summer's going to be wild. Wild, wild, wild. And it certainly is. It looks like it is going to be crazy and wild. And that's okay. Because, you can learn to surf that kind of thing. You can get out your surfboard and surf it, right? You can, forewarned is forearmed, they say, correct? So we're forewarned, so we know darn well that this stuff is coming. I don't know if that's enough to make us fully ready. I don't know if I'm ever fully ready for anything, but more informed than, people who don't. One crazy summer? No, I haven't. Do you think it has something to do with this? Do you think maybe we'd get some gems of insight from it? But yeah, it's going to be a crazy summer. I mean, I predict because old emotional stuff is coming up, I'm going to predict that people are going to go more nuts than ever. Okay, so watch out there. Be careful how you react if somebody cuts you off in traffic or if somebody starts getting weird in a line at a store or something. Be careful. People are going to be jumbled up emotionally this summer. So watch it. It's it's not, not hard to visualize what could happen. And I'm not going to visualize it, but I mean, it would be pretty easy to think that there would be a time, it would be a time of riots. Usually riot season doesn't happen until August, though. That's when usually the riots happen, is when the weather gets really hot. But yeah, in the cities, I wouldn't want to be anywhere near a city. I don't want to be anywhere around a city in a city this summer. Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. I think there are going to be some places that are going to burn, really. Yeah, right, yeah. Yeah, I think that some stuff is going to burn. Some of the cities are going to burn. I kind of see that. Some of these cities are going to implode because if people are going back over old emotional stuff, holy cow. Yeah, it's just be careful, folks. Yeah, don't start imagining anything. You don't want to add to it, but just realize stuff could happen and you have to be prepared for that. That's all I'm going to say. That's why California flooded this year. Yeah. Isn't that interesting? The California flooded. That's right. Yep. So basically, we've got a very interesting summer coming up. I I'm going to be there. I'm going to be one of your news reporters filling you in on what's been happening. Oh, by the way, I'm sure you've all, well, I'm pretty sure you've all heard about the Bud boycott, or I call it a girl cot, since it involves Dilly. We're calling him Dilly Dally, or her, Dilly, Dilly, you know, Dilly Mulvaney. Um, but uh, people are causing Anheuser-Busch to crash. And now Target is the next target of the boycotts. And Target's going down. Yeah, because of the woke and satanic child gear, child stuff. People are just having enough of it. And they're getting emotional and they're just saying, now I haven't shopped at Target in ages anyway myself, so it doesn't affect me one bit. If Target goes off the map, I don't care. I'm not gonna care. You know, all of these but I have been saying it for years. The only way to get anybody to listen to us is to withdraw our money. Withdraw our money. Right? Don't give your money to, you know, people who hate you and don't uphold your values. And that kind of sends a big message, sends a much bigger message than anything else you can do. Sitting and protesting or whatever. But if you withdraw that money, oh, now they notice. They notice that. I don't know. What do you people think is going to happen now? Anheuser-Busch, I hear, has partnered with Harley Davidson to try to regain some of their credibility. I don't know. What do you guys think is going to happen with that? That'll be interesting to watch. Oh, yeah. Walmart is already teetering, I think. I don't know, Lady Spellbreaker. I think it would be a lot harder. I think we better develop our telepathy really well if we're going to do that. But I think the big retail stores are a good beginning target. The other good target would be, of course, the pharmaceutical industry. Already boycotting that. Already boycotting most of the pharmaceutical industry. The healthcare industry. Already we're doing quite a lot of boycotting as much as possible because yeah, we don't want to be but there's just too many people that are still think that's the only way to go. Yeah, we're really going to have to advance telepathy and astral travel. And then we can, when I can start projecting this to everybody's mind via telepathy, well, yeah, I'm not saying it can't happen. It could happen. We could get it like that, I guess. Why not? That's allowing. See, that's what this allowing thing is. Well, yeah, why not? Yeah, that could happen. I don't know how. No clue how that would ever happen, but could happen. And just not putting any stumbling blocks to what you want to have happen. Not putting anything there that's impossible. Ah, cool. Cool, Lewis. A lot of Indians ride on motorcycles now instead of horses. So, let's see. We really got to work on this telepathy thing, I guess, and astral travel. Well, I'm pretty good at the astral traveling thing. I notice more people. That's another thing. Stephanie is starting to pick up on that now. She is somebody who woke up fairly recently, and all kinds of things are flooding in. All kinds of the gifts are opening up for her. But it's all opening up during a time when she's technically not homeless, but she's doing a lot of surfing, a lot of couch surfing. Now I think she's got an apartment, but only till the end of the month. So she's going through all of this and unstable housing too. And that's usually how it happens, is you get this incredible stress, and right at the time when all of your gifts are coming in too. You have a beautiful night too. And anybody who's leaving now, I appreciate your input. Thank you for coming to the show. Um, how long have we been? We've been on over 2 hours. There we go again. Zip. That just went by like no time at all. That just went zip, zip, zip already. Jeez. I will stay on a little bit longer if the chat is wanting to go a little longer. But honestly, I've done my 2 hours. So, and it went in no time. Gosh, that it went by so quick. Wow. 2 hours. That was nothing. Yeah, it's almost 12. I'm trying to wrap things up by 12 most nights. Okay, well, we've gone over quite a lot of ground here. Yep, it's a mighty night. Hey, Pam, have you looked into can I call you a little bit later? Have you looked into the StreamYard app? Yeah, we really discussed quite a bit. Yeah, I want to close it down around 12 is the latest I want to go now. I'm done with the late night owling stuff. So I'm going to get ready to wrap it up here. Um, yeah, well, there's stuff to figure out. I'm still looking for the right website too. So we'll see if I can find an adequate website. Um, it could be that something comes up unexpectedly. Okay. You had to get Safari. I don't use Safari. I use Brave. I access it with either Chrome or Brave. I've stopped using Chrome so much though. I don't hardly use. I'm using Chrome as infrequently as possible, as seldom as I can. I don't trust Chrome. I use Brave. You should be able to access it with Brave. Yeah, no ads. It's much easier to access everything without ads, without pop-up ads all the time. Yeah. You know, you can when you accidentally hit some, you think you were going to read a story and it ends up being clickbait, and there's these great big blank spaces. No ads. You can get through those daggone articles pretty darn quick, you know, if you want, or if it's one of the ones where there's any actual information, you can get through it really quick because you don't have to worry about accidentally hitting an ad. Mhm. So I don't use Chrome hardly at all. Really recommend everybody give Brave a try. And I hear DuckDuckGo, as far as search, is pretty good. Brave is okay too. DuckDuckGo for searches is very quickly becoming the most popular among people who don't want to be spied on. So there's that. Anyway, yeah, I should get ready to pull it down. Much as I love being with you people, and I do, because I can feel, I can feel that uh, I am with people. But honestly, yeah, I'm gonna want to fall back asleep at 12, right around 12, to a nice background, some kind of nice subliminal thing on YouTube maybe. And Lewis, thanks for telling me that Chrome no longer supports ad blocker. See, I was right to switch. I knew I had to switch. Everybody that's keeping their eyes on things is switching now. They're not they're not keeping they're not letting Chrome be their primary thing. It shouldn't be. If you want some privacy, don't count on Chrome. Yeah, clickbait. That stuff sucks. Okay, so download Brave browser. You'll never have to worry about clickbait again. I don't. Yep. So, okay, you guys,
Hope to see you. I love you. Hope to see you tomorrow again. Tomorrow, I think, is when the music's going to happen. Don't mean to falsely advertise, but I just wasn't feeling it at this time. Um, I do hope to see you tomorrow, though. And of course, we have a show Wednesday, too. We are on Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday. The times are variable, but lately I've been earlier rather than later. So just look at your notifications and we'll hope that the notifications come up. Diana's account. The count? The count? Which count? No count? Or Count Chocula or the Count from Sesame Street? 1, 2, 3. I don't remember. But the count was about counting, wasn't it? On Sesame Street. Yeah, the count. I'm not vampire in it anymore. Okay, you guys. Like I said, I love you. Thanks for coming to my show. I really appreciate it. I love talking to you. I love hearing your chat. You add so much to the show that, I pick a subject. We always go off of it, and that's fine. I love your diversions, and it still ends up back into the subject in different ways. Oh, okay. I see. Okay. My laugh. I laughed like the count there at some point. Um, okay. What else? The truth is where you find it. I hope you're finding some here. Whatever you do, don't forget that you're divine. Remember, you are a divine creator, and what you say matters, and what you tell yourself and others matters. And now that you know that and you have conscious awareness of it, it matters even more. So don't tell yourself scary stories and don't let yourself be programmed to make problems for yourself. That's my best advice. Don't let yourself be tricked into making negative programs for yourself or others. So that's something, and I find I constantly got to guard myself because I'm a thinker. I'm a thinky thinker. So I have to consciously take myself out of that and put it aside and quit thinking about some of this stuff and how what I got to do and this and that, and just let myself be sometimes and not um, think too much about some of the nasty stuff. It's not good. So okay, love you. See you next time. And ah, okay. Yep. Until then, take care of yourselves. You deserve it. You're nice people. And very important, may I say. You're very special. Because you know a lot more than most people. Take care.